Our first guest this week is Mr. Ajene Watson. He's the CEO of DigitalAMN Incorporated, stock symbols DATI. Ajene, welcome back to the show.
Hey Don, how are you feeling? I'm glad to be back.
I'm doing great. And I understand you had a couple of bouts with COVID, so you must be feeling better.
I did twice. So go figure, yes. But yeah, I'm fine. I'm feeling well, so I'm happy. I'm happy about that.
Well, I'm really excited to have you on the program. You have something new called dotHiphop, which we're going to get to in a bit. But I want to start out by saying in 2017, Inc. magazine published an article on DigitalAMN regarding the potential of your vision for the startup community. But at that time, you were just getting going with creating the strategy. Where are you now with the business?
Oh wow. Actually, we're in a very good place now. As you know, the last few years we took the time to strategize and figure out how we were going to provide the services and the products and services that we envisioned. And now we've basically finalized the framework for both the Pi ecosystem and the Pi program. So that means that we're able to now take our startups and early stage companies and onboard them effectively, fund them, educate and accelerate them, market them with a focus on leveraging the Jobs Act. So we can now assist the startups with various funding rounds, leveraging all aspects of the Jobs Act as it regards, capital raising. So I think that from that standpoint, we're in a good place because that was the focus of the business, was to develop this platform that integrated both entrepreneurs and would-be investors, if you would, everyday people on both sides to establish and grow transferable wealth. I think that we've done that, and we're at a place where we're able to effectively execute that model.
Well, it's really amazing how the Jobs Act has opened up investing opportunities to the everyday investor, as you said.
For sure, for sure.
Now, over the years, you spent a fair time cleaning up the cap table and reducing debt. Are you where you want to be right now?
I think so. I think that we're in the best place possible from a company. Remember when we took over, and I think I've told you this before on the air here, and I say this all the time. We began with a cap issued and out of about over 120 million, almost 125 million. Right now, we're at just about 20 million on the issued and outstanding, and we were able to do that with a rate of dilution, a very small rate of dilution, and without reversing the stock, which I think is very important. I've been in this marketplace for so long. It's something that I know that if I had the opportunity, I would try to find the best ways to do to clean up a cap table without hurting shareholders. So, I'm very happy that we were able to get down to that 20 million. We had a lot of toxic convertible debt on the books when we took over. We have no toxic instruments at this moment, and that took a considerable amount of time. And we're constantly restructuring debt, at the very least, swapping it out for something that's more accretive, right, to the bottom line. So I do anticipate that we're likely at our limit for reducing the share structure. I think we've maxed that out. But we're still focused on limiting dilution or the dilutive rate so that there can be good growth in the market. And we probably still have some room to reduce some debt, restructure, reduce whatever debt's not mine, right? Because I am the largest debt holder at the company at present. But whatever debt's not mine, we are still working on restructuring and reducing some. So I think there might be another 300,000 to maybe $500,000-$600,000 that I can reduce further.
Well, I see that you're now generating revenue, but it's a little bit on the light side. What's your plan for this?
Light side, yes. It is light because right now we've been using the business development model to raise not to raise, but to generate some revenue. But be mindful that that's not what the business of DATI is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the ecosystem. So what I did was I incorporated some of the what I do, which is business development and management consulting, and I brought that into DATI, but I didn't want to be distracted. So I just did a few jobs like that so that I can bring some revenue in, match that with the capital that I was providing and some of our friendly investors, and that's how we were able to, develop the company without creating a lot of dilution, without taking on toxic debt. So that's why the revenues are light. Now, going forward, I believe that we're going to be able to do what we intend to do, which is to launch our primary product, that being the Pi ecosystem and the Pi program. We're going to keep the bandwidth tight, so we know exactly how many deals we anticipate doing. We project that should put us into the mid 7 figures in terms of revenue for this year, but it would be a healthy 7, and it would show that we're on the right path. What we're also going to do is, because we brought in that biz dev piece, we realized that we can probably create divisions. And we have been working towards creating divisions, and in those divisions will be us scaling that business model of us doing biz dev and things like that. And of course, growing our digital asset division, what we now will be calling a division. So there's a lot of revenue to be made there, like with the dotHiphop that you just mentioned. So we anticipate that the revenues will be much more substantial this year, and definitely in 2023.
Well, Jenny, what are your plans with respect to raising capital?
Well, we believe in practicing what you preach, and that's part of the reason why we went through our own, are going through our own Pi ecosystem, which was difficult, by the way. It wasn't easy. We created it and didn't realize that we require a lot from our clients. But, we're going to leverage every aspect of the Jobs Act where it regards raising capital as we can, to better understand and be more comfortable offering that to our clients inside of this process. So that's how we intend to raise money. We still have investors. In the short term, I might still contribute more money as I did at the end of the last quarter. But we're going to definitely leverage, the Jobs Act, Reg A, Reg D, Reg CF, all of it.
Well, as I mentioned at the top of the interview, we wanted to talk about something new called dotHiphop. You mentioned that a moment ago. Tell us about dotHiphop. That's exciting.
It is exciting, actually, and I wish I had time to tell you how I got involved. But in the end, dotHiphop, like a .com or a .club or dot whatever, is a TLD, a generic top-level domain, and essentially, that business is very interesting. I was able to partner with 2 pioneers in that marketplace. We actually did announce that recently, a couple announcements on it, but we partnered with 2 amazing guys in that business, bringing on some executives in that business. So the business of domaining is phenomenal. It's incredible in terms of the revenue. It's a very strong and consistent business. But the reason why we got involved is because of the hip hop piece. I felt like that was where the opportunity was for us. I mean, would I have gotten involved with a .club that sold for $40+ million? Yeah, I guess so. But so that when I looked at that example from a TLD perspective, yeah, it makes sense. Why wouldn't I get involved with dotHiphop? But the dotHiphop for me is really exciting just because of what it represents, right? It's a culture of music and art and business and dance, and it's a culture that I grew up in, and I feel like this is an opportunity for us to further advance the idea of helping everyday people establish and grow transferable wealth. Because Don, the one thing I always say is that money doesn't care who makes it, and poverty doesn't care who lives in it, right? And so the hip hop culture has transcended so many lines. It's done more for race relations in the last 40 years than I don't even know what else. And it's global, right? And when you think about that, the people that we want to touch at DATI, that 99%, a lot of them do belong to the hip hop, no matter where in the world they are. So I believe that, you know, the TLD business in conjunction with the hip hop culture aligns well with what we're trying to do at DATI. And of course, the revenue generation piece is I believe going to be you know, cherry on top of that for the company.
Once again, the stock symbol is DATI, DigitalAMN Incorporated. Ajene, exciting developments. Really appreciate you being on the program and tell us about it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.